Welcome to our end of the month kind of recap, and we're going to take a look at where we are, what we need to do in these last couple of days. We've got today, tomorrow, and then Wednesday will be qualifiers day. So we're going to kind of talk about and take a look at where our business is now. I don't know about y'all, but I feel like that right kind of mid COVID, we as a team were really moving forward. We were spending time looking at and filling out our weekly kind of sheets that kind of hold us accountable, that is great for a check-in. And we've kind of gotten away from it for good reason. We've had some great things that we've been talking about and training. But I feel like, and this is kudos to Brenda for saying, let's really get back to honing in on month end. Where are we? What do we need to do? And some of you are a little newer, so some of this won't apply to you. That's okay. Just jump in into the middle of the mud, and it won't become clear to you for a while. But repetition, over time, we begin to understand our compensation plan and how it works. And so don't feel bad if you're like, I only know about 3 of these things, what you're even talking about. That is okay. No one's expecting, there's not going to be a test on it. But let's first jump in. I would love to hear from 1 or 2 of you, or even more, who went to the Pajama Regional and just what your takeaway was. What doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be deep. It could be kind of more overarching. It could be something specific. But I would love to hear from anybody who wants to share a takeaway.
I'll start.
Great.
I want to introduce my new partner, Beth O'Donovan. She is on the call. We actually met through a Cobb County Parks and Recreation pickleball class. We had signed up to do 6-week lessons, and I met her in the class last spring, and then got the name and number of a couple of the other people taking lessons, because I thought if we want to get together to practice, and it's been great because Beth and I have been playing once a week with a couple other people. But anyway, she got on Juice Plus in July when Elaine came to my house and did an event. And it didn't really even dawn on me until March to mention to her about the business. So I am so glad that she took advantage of the $10 deal and hopped on. And then she just went with me down to Elaine's. She has parents who live in Peachtree City. So she spent the night with them and went to the Pajama Regional. So anyways, welcome, Beth O'Donovan. I told her she would absolutely love everybody on our team. And a lot of these ladies that are on the call today are in Indianapolis and that area. And then my sister, Allison, she's in Birmingham.
Hi, Allison. Heard a lot about you on the drive up and back.
Welcome. I'm so excited for y'all.
But anyway, so Beth was down at Elaine's, and we were on Lane's lovely screened-in porch. And one of my takeaways was, obviously, all the speakers were talking about obstacles. As we all know, this is an up and down business. We can all of a sudden be picking up customers. Things can be going well. Then you kind of get some roadblocks. But I think that's true in any business in life. But it was encouraging just to hear how some people have dealt with those obstacles. And I did not take notes, but I do remember one of the speakers, it was the one who had those crazy young little boys that were running around at her house. And I liked her idea that she said, you don't always have to do events at your home. Sometimes that puts pressure on us, cleaning up our house, getting it ready, and how she has found coffee shops, whatever, different places. And I thought that was a good idea. And she also mentioned, sometimes when we have an event, it's just life. You'll think you have 5 RSVPs and maybe 2 don't show up because really something happened. And if you have, maybe if we charge like $5 or $10, I like to brainstorm with y'all to come to these events, then people have skin in the game, and then they're not as apt to think, oh, it's not going to matter if I don't show up. So I kind of want to brainstorm on that too. But I thought overall it was encouraging. Beth kind of jumped in. They weren't talking about the product as much, it was, or the business or the company. It was more about obstacles and stuff, but I think that's good because I want her to know that there are ebbs and flows in it. But anyways, that was my quick takeaway.
I love it. Anybody else?
Erin, are you going to go first? Or you want me to? Oh, okay. Well, it started with Travis. Well, first of all, I've never missed a Yama Regional, and I have never not come away so excited, so charmed. They are always fabulous. I mean, there's never been a dud, not even a half dud. They're just fabulous because they really do the best of the best. And for those 3 hours from 12 to 3, they were on a schedule. I was going to put the schedule up here. And I mean, they were on the money, on the time, and it was just over the top. I mean, look at all these people that spoke, and 2 of them were husbands of team members. It was just so well done and so encouraging. And ending with Catherine Lee, it doesn't get better. But one, we started off with our new president, our new CEO of our company, Travis, and I just loved his whole point, because it's something that I know, Elaine, we've talked about a lot of times. The way out of a slump is activity. The way out of depression is activity. Get out and do something, even though that, it doesn't feel right. You don't want to, you're discouraged. But he talked about the difference between inactivity and activity. And literally it's just taking a step, just doing something, picking up the phone, going to meet somebody, getting on a Zoom. And he just talked about how our emotions are so tied to that. And, as women, especially, we're emotional beings. And yet, when we take, and I know in my life, all the ups and downs, when I go ahead and do what I may not want to do at that moment, I may not feel like it, I'm always glad I did. And I'm always glad I reached out. I'm always glad I took the time to make the phone call. And just knowing that someone of his caliber has our back is so dedicated, and absolutely his one focus is for Juice Plus to be, first of all, our product is the best ever. There's no equal. But even the things that, sometimes now we still have some issues with technology and that kind of thing. But he's aware of it, and he's on it, and he's taken such incredible steps to he keeps saying, I hear you, and I know he does. And I'm just, it was just another incredible experience. Those 3 hours, I mean, I could have gone all day. Okay, like I'm doing right now. Sorry.
Who else? Anybody else want to share? Erin, were you going to share?
I'm sorry, you guys. I'm in the car and didn't plan to be. But yeah, I loved, Susan, I'm with you, that just idea of like, just learn to pivot and learn to pivot well and keep going. Just keep going, and the only way that we fail is when we quit. And so like really fail. And so just learning, just remembering that was so helpful, and just remembering too, like just hearing some really amazing stories, and being reminded, like, man, the people in our company are so incredible. It was so good. But we finished out with Catherine Lee, and she is just tremendous, talking about really making sure that we are like getting in tune with our feelings, getting grounded. And she talked about like learning to be grounded, of like taking a look at like 5 things you can see, 4 things you can feel, 3 things you got to help me, Bren, because my notes are not in front of me here. 2 things you can smell, and then 1 thing you can taste, like helping you be grounded through, and then just like really paying attention to your feelings and how how you're doing. And then even just taking some time to breathe. And she'd say, breathe. I haven't heard this breathing technique before, but breathing in like, and then at the very end, when you're all full, just do a little,
Hold it for a minute.
and then hold it as much as you can and then let it go. So I just love that our company is so in tune to like also caring for ourselves, and that was really amazing. And then the Pure Hope Foundation, so all of the monies that go into the Pajama Regional go to the Pure Hope Foundation, which is, for those of you that don't know, amazing ranch that takes care of and rehabilitates sex trafficked women and gets them back out into the world. So she was super excited about the funding for that, was going to buy a couple of cars for some women so they could safely get to back and forth to their jobs. And that's just so amazing, you know, that a lot of Juice Plus partners have come and really partnered with that amazing organization and ministry. And so that's been really, really fun.
Thank you, Erin, for sharing. Anybody else have anything before we jump into today's topic? I think for me was sitting there seeing the people who spoke, and that person's been in the company 20 years, that person 20 plus years, seeing the longevity of the people there. And I think what for me, and maybe it's just where I personally am right now, is this is a marathon. This business is a marathon. A lot of times we beat ourselves up because we're treating it like it's a sprint. And if we're not all out doing great all the time, we kind of get discouraged. When in reality, this is a marathon. What we're doing is locking arms with people, and together we're all moving forward on this health journey and within our business. And so I think if anything, I want to just hug each one of you. This is me putting an arm around everybody I see on here and say, let's do this together. Let's keep moving forward. Sometimes we get kind of stuck and we level out. And what I want to say is we can level out, but we don't give up. Back to what Erin said, is the only way we fail is when we quit. Let's keep moving forward. Let's keep sharpening each other. Let's keep getting better of all aspects of the business. Let's keep inviting people to join. We have an amazing community of people. And I look at each one of you all, and my heart, there's so many wonderful things I love about each one of you, and how cool that I get to do life with you and I get to do business with you. And so let's commit to growing better together in this business. And so hopefully you guys printed this out, this form. If not, it's okay. But we're going to kind of walk through it. And what I want us to do is really look at your business like a business. I don't want any of you saying, well, I'm just, I'm kind of here for the ride. Let's really roll up our sleeves. And if we treat this like a business, now, if we don't have to, but if we do, we will get the results I think that we want. And so if you're looking at the form, the first thing that we talk about, and we've got a couple of other points I want to make sure we hit. And Brenda, I'm going to be calling on you when I get to a certain point in regard to the Illuminate. But I want us to get in a habit, whether we do it together on this call or we don't. I want us all to get into a habit of really looking at our business before it ends. Printing out each of you, and if except for those who are new, but if you're a qualifying sales coordinator and above, you should be getting an email giving you an overview of last month, what you've done. And so print that out and print this form out. And I'll show you at the end where to find this form, and really assess your business from 1 month to the next. How am I doing? And under that calendar section, it talks about events. Have I attended a live event or had a live event? have I attended or had an online event? Kudos to those of you who went to the Pajama Regional. That was a live event, and I would venture to say none of us felt like we wasted 1 minute of being there. We got poured into. Online event, we have a monthly event as a team, an online event. Tuesday night, it's with Dr. Miles. How many people knew about the Valerie Miles event on Tuesday night? All right, so the first Tuesday night of the month is a skilled event. It's called Elevate Your Skills. And the last Tuesday night of the month is a Elevate Your Wellness. And so here is an opportunity. Would anybody on here, if you'd like to get some new customers this week, raise your hand. I'm going to do both hands. Here's an incredible opportunity. We have Dr. Valerie Miles talking about the immune system. So when we're done with this call, or while you think of it, if names pop into your mind, get them on that call Tuesday night. Who do you know? Everyone, I don't care who you are, everyone's immune system can get better. And what if we introduce these people to Dr. Valerie Miles? So who do you know? So events, the other thing I want to ask you, we're talking about events this week to finish out your business strong, is who would you like to do business with? You guys, I have to give a kudos to Beth. She came first time, first event. She shows up. She had made bags. She is a sourdough expert.
No, no, not an expert.
You are
learning.
Or in my eyes. She shows up with bags for all of us, brings bags with how to start sourdough, which I've been wanting to do that forever, but I didn't know anybody who did it. So now we're going to do a sourdough event down here. So how fun is that? Think about, the fact that Susan invited Beth into the business. I feel like I have a new friend and I'm so grateful. So who do you guys know that you would love to do business with? Who have you been shying away from? So think about that. When we take time to step back and look at our business and get perspective, the names are going to pop up. I love Trina when I hear Trina saying that she prays and says, Lord, who do I need to talk to this week? And so you guys, let's think about who would this business bless? Who would this product bless? And let's get on the events that we have and let's create events of our own. They don't have to be this big ordeal, but let's really take time to strategize with our business. The next thing I'm going to challenge each and every one of you, how many people know where you are from a PB qualifying this month? How many people know where you are right now? So Sandy, Trina, Karen, Brenda, Allison, Susan, Aaron. Okay, so let me kind of show those of you who are new. So if you're new, please don't feel any pressure. This is definitely a learning process. Let me get over here I'm going to take you to Scott's dashboard, my husband's dashboard. So here is a commission. So anybody shout out, what is it? So when we join this business, immediately we get profits. Someone shout out, how much in profits do we get when we first join?
10%.
10%. Who said that?
Me.
Okay,
Karen.
Thank you. 10%. If we hit that first goal, Partner Plus, we begin to make commissions. How much is that?
5.
Well, we used to make 5%, but the commission, I'm sorry, you're right. I'm sorry, I'm going to the bonuses. Karen, I need to let Karen do the training on this. Karen
No,
is
that was Susan.
5%. And so here's what we want to do is make sure that we are picking up our entire commission to get that commission. If we're at the Partner Plus level, what's the amount that we have to get to get, what kind of volume to get that 5% commission? Do you remember every month?
Yeah, 175.
175. So if I'm looking at Scott, he's already done 2022. So he's good to go. So look at what I want y'all to do is learn to come to this dashboard and look at it. So the next thing is what you're going to hear people, those of you who are new, we hear a lot about performance bonus or PB bonus. What do we have to get the PB bonus?
1,800 points.
1,800. How's Scott doing? He's good.
Qualified. He's over.
Yeah.
He's over. He's qualifying. And so coming here to see. So when I said how many people are qualified, do you know where you are? First and foremost is we want to make sure we're getting at least 1,800. How do we get 1,800 points? What is it that we usually, what's our goal from a customer standpoint to make sure we're getting 1,800 points?
24.
24 Trio customers. So when we're just getting started, for those of you who are new, the goal is not only, hitting that PB level or possibly qualifying sales coordinator level. That's a position level. We also are building a customer base to start picking up these bonuses and commissions. So the commissions come when we hit certain positions, then the bonuses come when we have so many customers every month. So what we want to do is take a look at coming to this dashboard and saying, where am I? Now, we also want to, if we have partners who we've brought into the business, we not only want to check ourselves, but we want to make sure they're hitting their levels, their positions, as well as hitting their bonuses and moving forward as well. So how do we check our partners? So they may be new. They may not be in this habit of checking. So what do we look at? Our PVC reports. So how many people, I'm going to stop this. Well, let me go one step further, and I don't want to get in too deep for the new people. You're probably looking at me with your eyes are spinning. That's okay. It'll probably spin for a while. The last thing is some of you who have team, you want to be checking this box too. So I'm looking at Scott thinking, okay, he's low this month. So I'm only looking at 4,400. What's my goal here? 5,400. So what is that screaming to me personally? I got some work to do on Scott's behalf, don't I? I've got about 1,000 points that I have to get in the next couple of days. Now, I've got this nice little cushion down here, but I don't want to burn any more into that. So what am I going to do? Anybody have a suggestion for me? What do I need to do to get Scott to POB in the next 3 days? Give me Karen, you raise your hand. What should I do?
Get 3 pay in full trios or 2 quads.
Okay, there you go. So Karen knew the numbers of what I needed to do. What did you tell me? I need 3 what?
Trios, pay in full, or 2 quads.
Or 2 quads.
Well, it's a little 2 quads and a trio, I guess.
So have you ever heard the term, there's a couple ways you can skin a cat? So she just gave me 2 ways to get there. You know what I'm going to focus on? I might not get it today. I may have to get it another way. But this little baby, these little babies are going to come in really handy. Why? Because these are paying full every single time. So I've got about 15 people who want to try a sample of the Luminate. I just got my cards in the mail. So I'm going to send out about 15 of these. Some of them they're probably not going to get them in time, but I'm going to build that for next month. I'll make sure I qualify Scott. I've got several potential new customers that I think I can get in the next 3 days. But you know what? It was good for me to get my butt going. Like, oh, usually I don't even have to pay attention to this, but I've obviously put some customers on hold, maybe lost a few customers. Maybe it's just a little leaner month. But what did this do today? It forced me to kick it in gear and say, okay, I got some work to do. So utilize this dashboard to see where you are. Then, you know what it did? I printed out my PBC report. Has anybody printed out their preliminary PBC report? I don't know about you, but I've got a ton of people that are this close to PB qualification. How much, if we qualify, PB qualify, what's that percentage we get, that commission that we get?
3%.
3%. So I'm crazy not to connect with every single person on my team that are close, because we want to see them be successful. And so I'm going to call him back to kind of what Karen did. Say, oh, you may just be one order away from qualifying your business and picking up that 3% bonus. So let's, as a team, as if you've got partners on your team, let's be great leaders. Let's make sure that they leave absolutely no money laying on the table. That 3%, if they don't qualify, nobody gets it, just lays on the table. Some of you guys are far enough along in the business that maybe, like me, you've signed your husband up as a partner. That's a beautiful thing, because not only are you picking up 3% off everything they do, if you're qualified, you pick up an additional 3% if you get them qualified. So really you're getting 6% more percent coming in. So if make sure your husbands are qualified, you can control those two things. So from a strategic standpoint, make sure that you're qualified, and anything else, if you're a good bit over 1,800, say you're 2,000, you need to be putting the rest in your husband so that you get that additional 3%. So for those of you who are new, it's probably like, whoosh, this is going over your head. That's okay. You'll get it after about the 100th time you've heard this, because it doesn't just stay in your mind. It kind of goes in and goes out, but eventually it stays in. But what I want to challenge us to do with this is, let's be strategic. Let's be true business owners, and let's maximize our paychecks. Let's utilize everything at our fingertips. Now, I don't want to say, oh, go ahead and sign your husbands up. Not until you have a strong, qualified business yourself. Then you can look at doing that. But if you already have that, then make sure you're balancing between the two. I've got mine, my husband's, and my 2 daughters. So I do that with 4. And, 4 times, that's 12% that I can manage and add coming into, from an income standpoint. So, okay, enough about that before everyone's eyes glaze over. Let me go to the next thing is, how many customers do you have? Are we looking at, are our customers going up every month? Are they going down? Or are they staying the same? If you think about a bathtub, what we don't want to happen is we're bringing new customers in. So we got the faucet going, but we don't have the tub plugged up, and we're losing customers. So we want, as a goal is, we want to be educators and connecting with our customers and finding out, where are they? I don't see Mara. Mara and I sat and talked after the Pajama Regional, and we were talking about, how do you handle when the customer can't really remember why they started taking Juice Plus to begin with? What's that conversation look like? And if we're not looking, and I'm going to show you guys on your PVC report, I'm going to look at, let me get over to Scott. We'll just pick on Scott since he's not here to defend himself. Okay, so Scott's so he's got 20 customers. So if I'm looking on my PVC report, it's column 6. So he's got 20 customers. And what I want to do is compare that from month to month. Is my personal customers, is Scott's personal customers, is it going up or is it going down? Am I losing customers? We're all going to lose customers from time to time, but we really want to minimize that. So let me ask for you guys, some of you seasoned partners out there, how do you guys deal with losing customers? Anybody want to give us some? I'm going to pick on Allison because Allison, I know you do great customer care. How about Sharon? And you've been a partner for a long time. Share with some of the other ones just what you do to try to minimize losing customers. Or if you've lost them, what you do to get them back. She didn't know I was going to put her on the spot, but you're on mute still.
Well, I need to probably do better on working to get them back. But I do check in like is recommended on the Juice Plus Hub. They give you that schedule when you go to do the little customer care workshop or whatever they call it. I do kind of follow that schedule. So I do check in with new customers a good bit the first 4 months, like maybe once a month, the first 4 months. And because the worst thing that to me, I used to hate is that you wouldn't do that. And then you're checking in when their second shipment's about to go out. And then they're like, oh my goodness, we haven't been taking it. Like I opened up the box and then you're like, oh. So it's just better to go ahead and troubleshoot 3 or 4 weeks in. If they haven't started it, why not? Maybe they are struggling with the capsules. You can recommend the chewables, but it's just good to troubleshoot it early on and then to help them if they're forgetting, whatever that might be. And then I usually, after the first 4 months, every time I do check in with them when their shipment's going to go out, I take that time to send something specifically related to them. So I've kind of taken notes when I'm chatting with them and logging what they say. So like if they have asthma or something specific that they're dealing with the child or with themselves, then before I send out a text message about their next shipment, I'll send a video or some kind of information related to their specific issue. So it's very personal. And I'll say like, hey, I remember last time we chatted, you mentioned your daughter was struggling with X. Here's some great information I just read through and thought about you. So I do that. It's best if I don't do it exactly when their shipment's going out. I try to do it, but at the very least, you can do it at that same time. Then you'll get in a conversation and, you can ask about their shipment. So that's kind of what I've been doing.
And Allison always has a really strong customer base. And I think it's building that relationship with our customers, knowing what their issues are, not being, I always say when you are like, oh, I don't want to talk to that person, like you're worried about something. If you ever have that feeling, that's a sign to lean into them. And even though you're like, oh, I kind of get a sense that they're not doing too good and I'm afraid they're going to quit. And if I call them, that's when you really, really want to lean into them. And if we can address issues, like Allison said, right up front, what happens is we're building a relationship, we're educating them as well, and share our own struggles and how we've overcome them. Or maybe, yeah, I've seen that before. Here's what works. I think what we're doing is really helping them understand we're not about just making a sale. We want to lock arms with these people and we want to be their cheerleader for many years to come. What we're going after are customers who are like, I called one customer the other day and I said, Christy, I just want to know, you've been on Juice Plus for 20 years. I want to hear why you choose to stay on Juice Plus. She goes, I don't know. I'm scared not to. And it's kind of like, we want to get people to that point. Not that we want to put the fear of God in everyone, but we want them to realize that that's how critical it is, that they don't want to miss one single day. But how are we going to know if we're not taking some time within the month to check and say, where am I? How are my customers doing? Is my customer account going up or is my customer account going down? And that's where this thing is valuable. And I want us all to be, we want to be better together, but we also want to say, I'm taking ownership of my business. I'm going to make sure if there's anybody remotely close within 500 points of qualifying, I'm going to have a conversation with them and I'm going to do everything I can to help them get qualified. If there are customers who I need to give a little extra love to, I'm going to do it because it's much easier to develop a long-term customer than it is to go out and have to find new ones. We want customers that's been around for years. Brenda.
The other thing that has come up more recently that I've discovered is how many people are having issues with swallowing capsules. And so I had a customer literally, I didn't know him well. His wife signed him up and I called him to say, I saw you got your Juice Plus, and started talking to him. And he goes, well, I haven't opened it yet. He goes, he said, I don't swallow capsules well. And I'm like, okay, that's great. That's why I called. Go get them. And he goes, okay. So I said, so I'm going to teach you right now how to do that. And he's like, are you serious? Yeah, I'm serious. Over the phone. And
you're a teacher.
Yeah, you don't know, baby. And so I said, get a swallow of water, go out and take 2 of each one. Let's take 2 at a time. Put it in your mouth, tilt your chin down, wait for them to float, and swallow. And of course, it hardly ever works the first time, but it always works the second. And I mean, this guy was he was older than I was, and I'm old. And he was so lit up. He's never been able to do that. And it changed everything. His wife, he's so excited. So I think I've had that happen several times, but I'm hearing it more recently. And that's a great way to, especially since our products float. But just checking in, I'm like, no, go get them.
Who does that? Think about a product that you've bought. Have you ever got a personal phone call from anybody? Nobody does that. And that's where we want to stand out as upline to the people we bring into the business, as the customers who we've invited into the business. We want them, this is Brenda's word, we want them to say, wow, I've never got that kind of customer experience before. And what they're going to feel is that it's beyond just selling them Juice Plus. We truly want to see their health taken to the next level. I'm telling you what, you give people that kind of customer care, they're going to be with you for life because the product's good. We don't have to worry about the product. Let's just make sure that they know what they're taking and that they've got someone like us to support them the whole way. I want to wrap it up. We can only all sit and listen so long, especially those who sat all day on Saturday. But I want us to also, if you look at the bottom of this page, and we can dig into it even more. And if you're looking at it and want to have questions, please call your upline, call me, call Brenda. But the last thing it says, rate your engagement. And a lot of times what I've seen is people will be like, well, I was really wanting to make XYZ amount every month, but I'm only making this or that or the other. So I'm not going to engage at that level because I'm not making that much. And what I always ask is, how about tell me how much time did you invest in this business? And then I divide that into how much money they make. It's unbelievable. It's more money per hour than they would have made anywhere else. And when I do that personally, I'm like, I'm ashamed. I should be investing more time based on the check that I receive. And, I usually work about 30, 35 hours a week. But when I do that, I realize there's not a better gig out there. So if we're not making what we want, I guarantee you're making a really good dollar per hour amount. Let's invest more time. It's not, I'm not going to invest more time because it's not what I'm making. It's let's invest more time to make what you want to make. And so I think literally holding ourselves accountable by saying, rate your engagement. How much did I really engage in this business? And I think what we find, I think during COVID, one, we had people who were seriously looking at their health. But two, I think we really did engage at a higher level because we didn't have all these distractions. So you've heard people talk about putting the big rocks in. I'm going to challenge you guys to let's look at our calendars every week and say, where are my pockets of time that I can invest? And with that, get it on a calendar and treat it like a business. You wouldn't decide, oh, I may go to work, I may not. Let's not do that. Let's do this right, this to ourselves, and let's really get out of this business what we really want. And maybe part of that is taking a few minutes and saying, what do I want? What do I want out of this business? And if you've got people you've brought into the business, spend some time with them and say, what do you want? Let's really structure this so that it meets your needs and what you want, because that's the beautiful thing about our business. It is so flexible, whether it's somebody who wants to go full charging or someone who wants to just tiptoe in. The answer is yes. Our company gives us that kind of freedom to work at whatever level we want to work. But the question is, are we engaging at the level that we're saying we really want? And so that's where we want to hold ourselves accountable to that. Okay, Tuesday night, back to Tuesday night, we have an incredible event with, let me pull it up, with Valerie Miles. Let me get over here. And who do you know? I'm going to send out a project broadcast message to my customers, inviting them to this event. Who can you invite to hear Dr. Valerie Miles? The title is Build a Rock Solid Immune System. You guys, we have incredible medical people at our fingertips. Are we showing up for these events? Are we inviting to these events? Let's do our part. This is going to be an incredible event, and let's load up that call. The other thing I'm going to talk about is, actually, I'm going to pass it off to Brenda, is we have Luminate. Let's make sure everybody knows about Luminate, all your customers, all your prospects. And Brenda, take it away on what the contest that's going on. You know more about it than I do.
Well, I could not be more thrilled about Luminate. I am totally obsessed. I drank 2 back-to-back yesterday after my workout, which probably wasn't the smartest thing, but you know, I figure it's just food and I just felt great. But we have a program right now called Operation Lumination. I love that kind of stuff. Anyway, so and now I get to brag about our own Karen, because already, how many boxes have you sold, Karen? 10?
No, I think it's like 12 or 13.
12 or 13, because there is a running a list that they're putting out, which is like let me see, it's a legend race, and Karen is on the top, one of the top ones. Yeah, I mean, is that top one the first one, Karen? Kelly Morgan? So anyway,
Another person just sent that to me. I didn't know that.
Yeah, she's 7th in the company.
Woo!
Looks like, yes. Okay.
Way to represent Karen.
I know. So here's how it works. Okay. First of all, try it yourself, because it is off the charts, hot or cold. I love it both ways. But if you place 3, it says for yourself or your customers, if you place 3 or more orders of Luminate, you get to be on the status board. It's the recognition status board, and you have a chance to win $300. That's with 3 or more. Okay. If you place 6 or more orders, you get to be a Luminate leader instead of a launcher. Now you're a leader, which is what Karen is evidently. And now you have a chance towards $600 plus a name brand item like an Apple Watch or luggage or some kind of fancy bakeware. Then the top 3 partners after that, I guess it's in April, because I think they're doing it April. And actually, if you do it in April, you're getting a jump start, because this contest starts literally in March. It goes March on. But right now it says Luminate orders placed the April 6th through the 30th. The recognition status and the prize winners will be celebrated. So even for those people putting in orders in April, they're going to have their own celebration. But at the end, the top 3 partners with the most Luminate orders are going to get $1,000 check and one of the big brand name items. So, I mean, there's a lot of people in it, but Karen's already at the top, number 7. So that's huge. Woo-hoo!
I'm sorry, Brenda. I didn't mean to interrupt. Are you finished?
Yeah. I mean, there's no downside to it. This morning I published on Here's to Your Health a Juice Plus margarita, a laminate. I'm sorry, it's a teacher in me. I just laminate all the time. It's Luminate or Illuminate or Illuminati. I've gone every way. Anyway, but there is a recipe on there where you can make a mock Luminate margarita with strawberries and lime, and it's really fun. And I'm going to be posting. Someone else did these, but they were from like Italy or somewhere, and so we're having to translate it all. But I've got several ready to go. So, but anyway, use those recipes. People are loving them, and they're easy. They're really easy, and it's delicious.
One thing I'm going to say this, and then we'll cut it off. But does anybody know who Dr. Greger is? He's written, gosh, he's written How Not to Diet, How Not to Die. And then his latest is How Not to Age. And so I've read the other 2, and they're only about this thick, so it takes a while to get through them. So I'm reading his book now, How Not to Age. And last night I was like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to share this with everyone. He was talking about part of aging is the ability for your body to really flush out like all the toxins and all the stuff that gets in our bodies. Well, this was fascinating. He said that coffee is one of the things that really has the ability to do that. And he said that it's not the caffeine, it's because decaf coffee does it too. But it's actually coffee that really helps like slow down the aging process because it helps flush out your system. And all I could think about was our Luminate. And I bet it even does at even a greater level because it starts with the actual fruit versus, the coffee bean itself. So I was like, oh my gosh, a whole nother reason to tell people about Luminate and how that works within our body. I might do a screenshot and post it because it was really quite fascinating. So anyway,
who never drank coffee, that makes me happy.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
yes,
that would be great if you did whatever, if you just did a little screenshot or had that as that quote. So when we call people, I just don't want to say that wrong.
I'll make a flyer I can put it on like a little thing on a flyer for us.
Yeah.
Well, he said it was I think it was I'll have to get it. I'll have to remember. It was a lot, but I was like, this is really a whole nother selling point for Luminate and what we have. And I think the longer we take it, the more we're going to learn about it. I think the more exciting it's going to be. So, okay. So you know about the contest. You guys know about Tuesday night. Take some time, and if you haven't already done this, and really investigate how your month is going. Are there any ways I can maximize my paycheck? Are there any ways I can help my team maximize their paycheck and build and grow? And let's become professionals in this business and be the absolute best we can be for ourselves, for our team, and for our customers. And I just want y'all to know I appreciate you guys. I'm glad I have an opportunity. I had so much fun hanging out with Susan and Beth and Edie and Sandy. Sandy Dial wasn't there because she was doing an event at her gym. So, but Shelly was there, and we had a really good time together. And just I was grateful and reminded of the amazing community that we have. So thank you guys for being in this community with me and your friendship. And I love each one of you and appreciate y'all being on the calls with us. So, all right, same time, same place next week.
To be on